Okay, I think that's it.
We are live.
Oh, yes, I see it. Wow,
I think
amazing.
we are live.
Let's see. I'm looking
Hi
on the other computer.
everyone.
Hmm.
I think we should give people some hi. Hi Sunny Rose, Daniel, Peach, Barbara is how I say. Hi Mackenzie. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining today with us. I have a very special guest for you guys today. His name is Casey Lartig. He's one of my heroes and my mentor, my friend. I'm very honored to have him here. So, guys, let's be nice to him. I have like a million questions to ask. But today's guest, like the reason why I brought him mostly is that he's been actually doing the real work to do something about North Korean people, trying to help us. And there are so many people talk about it, but he's been really action oriented person, and therefore I think we can ask him so many questions. He's has a lot of insights, so I will not delay any longer. Casey, welcome to Voice of North Korea.
Wow, what a welcome. Thank you so much, Yummy.
It's an honor to have you. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, you built me up so much. I hope I don't disappoint people.
no, I'm really really honored to have you.
Hmm.
So all my the supporters and subscribers to this channel have been really curious because they have learned what's happening to North Korean people. They know that it's not okay. We can't let them be suffering like this. We really want to take an action. So I hope they ask all their questions. So maybe before people have time to ask you some question, I will ask you first. So can you give us some introduction of who you are? I know who you are, but people don't know. So
Sure. Well, I am an American from Texas, Missouri City. Yes. Also lived in Virginia, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C. And I live and work now in Seoul, South Korea. I am the co-founder and co-president of Freedom Speakers International. Some people might know us as Teach North Korean Refugees, but we are in the middle of an identity crisis as we're changing our name. But also I'm a columnist and blogger with the Korea Times. I'm executive director of Giving Tuesday Korea. I'm a lecturer at the Seoul University of Foreign Studies, co-chair of the Bring My Father Home campaign. I'm on the Council of Mentors with the Atlas Network, co-editor of Educational Freedom in Urban America. I used to be Yummy Park's boss. That was another key thing. So yeah, I'm involved in lots of things and advocating and being involved in action for North Korean refugees is at the heart of so much of what I'm doing these days.
Wow, you have the longest bio that I actually know. So that's amazing. I'm honored to have you. So I mean, we used to know each other from TNKR, right? As you said, like teach North Korean refugees English. So I was one of your students. I went to your program. I met wonderful teachers that you brought together, and they taught me how to speak English. And not only that, they really taught me how to embrace myself and my story. So I'm like eternally grateful for all those teachers that you brought. But now you are transitioning to Freedom Speakers International. So was there any reason that you switched the direction from teaching English to, yeah?
Sure, but first of all, I want everybody to know that you were not just one of our students, but one of our superstar students. So you studied with us for a short time in 2013 and then came back in 2014 and had like 18 or 19 tutors that you were studying with one-to-one. And I remember one week you had like 35 or 40 hours that you were studying with the tutors one-to-one. So yes, you are fantastic when you were here. So actually about 4 years ago, I wanted to change what we were doing. What we were doing is really important work, providing one-to-one English tutoring for North Korean refugees. But I knew that there was more that we could do. And actually the work that we were doing, we needed like a $1 million budget to really get those things done in a professional way. But we had lots of students who wanted to tell their stories, but we couldn't really do both things So, I mean, doing the tutoring program, we had to absolutely respect the privacy of all of the students there. So, actually, after you left, that's when we really started the public speaking program because we still had reporters and others asking, can you introduce us to refugees? But we're saying we have this small little quiet program for refugees to study. So we decided to split the program in half after you left. And that's when we started the public speaking program with an emphasis on that. So we've been had it in mind. I've had it in mind for a while that this could be something special, but we were doing both things. But then finally, because of COVID, it just became too difficult for us to continue the one-to-one, face-to-face private tutoring program. And we had to make some decisions. And so then I said, why don't we go back to what I said 4 years ago, and that is focus on public speaking. So helping North Korean refugees to tell their stories, to publish books, and really spread awareness about what's going on in North Korea, as well as for North Korean refugees. So if anybody wants to get involved with us, mainly we're looking for people who can help as editors, translators, book publishing, whatever it is that can help us with an event organizing, event planning, those kinds of things. So that's really our focus these days. So by the end of 2021, we hope to have at least 3 North Korean refugees with books that are prepared to be published.
Wow.
Which, as you know, will be a great thing because, so you published your book in 2015. 2015, 2016, there were 4 North Korean refugees who published books. But since then, only 2 have published books. And so there seems to be that there is basically this need, that there's an opportunity to help those who are trying to tell their stories to do so.
Oh, wow. I mean, like you guys are doing so much. I mean, so like what do you think, so in order for, I mean, so let me tell like my lovely followers here, guys, as you see that, I'm not the only defector. There are many my fellow defectors, and a lot of them, actually most of them reside in South Korea. And South Korea is a bit harder to learn English. So, but the thing is that it's an international language, is English. So in order to raise more awareness, you need to speak English. I think that's like where your role comes in, Casey, right?
Right.
And so now you guys are trying to raise, build these stars who becomes the champions of advocating North Korean human rights issue in the international stage.
Yes.
So in order to help them to find their voice in the international community, and also giving them the platform, right?
Right.
But there's a lot that we need to help them, support them, and to become more spokesperson for this issue. Because honestly, I'm very lonely. I want more people, like especially my fellow defectors, come out and talk about it, especially about what I went through in China, about how women are being treated in China, all of that. That's like where my heart is. So how do you, what kind of support do you need, Casey, for running your organization and helping defectors to become the spokesperson? Is there things that people can do to help you?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I can put in the chat here a link to my different activities, and so ways that people can join. We have a sign-up link at the bottom for people who would like to volunteer with us. In fact, let me go ahead and find that.
Guys, you gotta write that down. I will put that link on the later at the end of the live at the comment section, and I'm gonna pin that comment. Okay. So everyone can go back and check the link. And guys, this is your opportunity to join a movement. Because changing the world is not that hard. I've been keep saying it. I mean, you can change some of it by little action. So I hope you guys sign up for that list and really find your way to contribute to help nursing people. No pressure though, but I think so many people will join it.
Well, great. That would be very. So I just posted as workable words with Casey Lartig Jr. You can see the link, and there we have the link to volunteering. So we need a couple of things. Number one, we do need top quality editors. But at different
Oh,
levels. There are some who they're just
yes.
picky about grammar. So we love
Yeah.
those kinds of people. But also we
Oh,
need people who,
editors.
yeah, people who are a little more
Mm-hmm.
flowery, who can take some text and make it look even better and kind of clean
Mm-hmm.
things up. So we need
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of editors. We need
Mm-hmm.
translators because, of course, we'd like to be able to translate these things into other languages.
Yeah.
We also need people who are good at marketing because my co-director,
Oh.
co-president Ungu Lee, and I, we're doing the work, but we're not really
Uh-huh.
out there as public figures. We're not out there, as far as marketing the things that
Uh-huh.
we're doing. And of course, we need fundraising. And I know it's
Right.
like an uncomfortable topic for lots of people, but things can
Mm-hmm.
get done when there's more
Of
money
course.
to
Of
support.
course. Yeah.
And in addition to that, people who are good at graphic design and
Uh-huh.
and any people who have real knowledge and expertise about the book publishing industry. Because
Mm-hmm.
we're setting up our own little outfit where we'll be able to publish books. But of course, if we can actually reach out to people in the publishing world, that will be better, and people who can
Mm-hmm.
help us navigate that. So those are some of the main things
Wow.
that we really need help with.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Brad, for your encouragement.
Mm.
And like everyone else, as you said, like you need an editor. So if you're
Mm.
really good at writing or editing,
Mm.
that skill is very needed. And
Mm.
translators. So you mean
Yes.
translators from Korean to English or what
Yes.
language?
Well, yeah. Well, first of
Mm-hmm.
all, we have some North Korean refugees who actually are not really so interested in learning English, but they want to tell their stories.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of them who they're either have already written
Mm-hmm.
manuscripts and they're in
Mm-hmm.
Korean, and we'd like to translate those into English.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the main thing. But of course, there are people in other countries who'd also like to translate
Okay.
who can also translate and share the text
Mm,
in other countries.
amazing. I'm sending my love to you, Joy, too. Thank you. People are so sweet. How
Nice.
about marketing? So, marketing wise, like reaching out to people and like trying to
Hmm.
get the words out, right?
Yes, and then just so
Mm-hmm.
we are changing our mission to focus on public speaking. We need
Mm-hmm.
just marketing materials just for that. Just let people know what it
Right.
is that we're doing and who we are. But
Mm-hmm.
also reaching out to organizations and people who'd like to host events with North Korean refugee speakers.
Right.
So that
Mm-hmm.
would also be, we need some marketing for that also.
Yeah, I mean, like as I said, there are so many North Koreans right now, like are so brave enough to take the risk and
Mm.
become coming out with their stories publicly.
Yes.
So, if you guys can organize an event, host us at your home or your yard or school,
Mm.
anywhere, reach out to us. I think all these opportunities gonna be really helping us to raise awareness. I think that's the ultimate goal.
Mm.
And how about so in more general, Casey, like
Mhm.
you've been living in South Korea like how many years?
Oh, more than 10 now.
Oh my gosh, you've been in Korea longer than I
Well,
was.
your Korean is better than mine.
uh, we are not sure about that. So how about then? So you've been working with the North Koreans for how long, Casey?
Really working with them since 2012.
Oh,
That's when I really
2012.
started getting involved. And 2013 is when we
Okay.
started the activities that became this organization.
Okay.
But 2012, I mean, 2012, we met at the end of that year. But during
Mm,
that year, I was helping to send the air balloons to North Korea, CDs,
mm,
DVDs, trying to raise money, just participating
yeah.
in events and just trying to get involved. So 2012 is when I really started, but 2013 is when I really started my own activity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm.
일상님 감사합니다.
Mm.
So, so you've been doing this for last like I mean, 9 years at least,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
And the most common question that I get from my supporters is this question, like, how do we serve North Korea? Which
Yeah.
means translated to like, how do we help? Like, what can
Yeah.
we do? But I don't want to be like cynical. There's nothing you cannot do, right? It turns out we've been working on this issue for many years. There's
Mm.
so many things can be done, and we really need the help.
Right.
So,
Yes.
we gotta be very more, I think, how would you tell just average people, like people now, like what, almost 300 people watching this channel?
Oh my goodness.
And what would you tell them, like how they can help North Koreans?
Yeah,
It's not a simple answer for
yeah, it's
sure.
not. And the thing is, so for 9 years, I've been hearing this question. And at events, at forums, all kinds of time, so many different times. And no one is ever satisfied with the answer. So I think that means that there's something that's just not easy about this, obviously. Well, when I'm unsure about things, I like to go back and look at what some other people have done with some other movements. And like Martin Luther King Jr., if you look at what he did, so everyone knows I have a dream. Okay, the I have a dream speech, but not as many people know about his I have a plan essay. And he wrote the letter from a Birmingham jail when he was getting criticized by people, and he explained how he engages in civil action. The first thing he said is just collect information. You need to know what's going on. And I think lots of people are doing that. People follow your channel and the channels of other North Korean refugees, and books and articles and all that. So people are doing that. The second step that he said is negotiation. And that is, you go to the people in power and you talk to them about making some kind of change. Now, of course, with North Korea, you can't just call Kim Jong-un, try to make some change. The third step that he talked about is what he called self-purification. And this is that you look at what is it that I'm willing to do? Okay, how much of my time, how much of my money am I willing to do in order to make a difference? And then the fourth step is action. Okay, so now Martin Luther King Jr. led the civil rights movement with those 4 simple steps. So I tell people, you can look at that. But also I tell people that I think we are now living in this kind of one-click Amazon world. You click, book comes. People think you click, you change the world. You click, North Korea collapses, and that's just not the way it is. So if you were walking down the street and you saw a friend fighting somebody, what would you do? Would you walk over to the friend and ask, what can I do? Would you look at other people? What can I do? You would make a quick calculation about what it is you can do. Can I fight? Most people will be like, well, I haven't had a fight since I was a teenager. Okay, so you might not fight. Call the police, do you call other people? But the point is that you'll make a calculation based on what it is you are able to do. And I think people need to think less about asking other people for the big thing that can be done, and start to look to themselves and start to focus on what it is that they can do. Now, in my case, I tell people read as a first step, do as a second step, as far as volunteering. 3, start to lead. 4, start to mentor and recruit. And 5, of course, donate and fundraise so you can actually help build up whatever you're helping. But just recognize that North Korea is not going to collapse overnight because of outside pressure. It will have to take things happening inside the country. Of course, those of us who are outside of the country should be doing things, and people from North Korea can hear that things are being done in support of them. But just recognize that it's not going to be easy. And for 9 years, I've been hearing this question. There must be a reason nobody is satisfied with the answers. Okay? And because think about it one way, the Yumby Park of 2012 is different than the Yumby Park of 2021. And the same with other North Korean refugees. Newcomers need different things compared to people who've been out for 10 or 15 years. So if you do want to get involved, it's better to think more individualized about how can you help particular people, not just help like a whole 25 million people at one time, or even help all the refugees who are already out. So my main thing is do what you would do in most cases with the skills that you have, and then try to collaborate with other people who are also trying to help. But just recognize this is not an easy battle, that it will take a long time.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think that's what you just have conveyed, that, the world problems, the real problems are very complicated, and the world is complicated.
Right.
And I think it really humbles all of us that we need to seek truth, and it's a very meaningful journey to find that truth. And I think it's also Of course, helping North Korea is not easy thing to do. However, it's the right thing to do and it's a meaningful thing to do. So thank you for explaining that to us. And thank you, Devin. Thank you very much for the encouragement. And Jokir is how I say Jokir. One small way to help support North Korean defectors who are vocal on social media like Yanni. You're so kind. So like you said, there are many defectors are right now vocalizing their voices and really trying to speak out. So I hope you guys really follow, support them all. Anyway, so I want to like really give you guys now opportunity to ask question Casey because he's a very important person to have. I want to like use this opportunity to ask him question. And I mean, because the case is very unique, like you can look at this issue from as an outsider and also both insider. And therefore, I think it's going to be very helpful for us to hear your views. But Rainbow Rock Toys, thank you so much. You guys are so wonderful today. The questions are going up so fast, so I'm like
I know it's hard to see. I'm looking on a different computer, and oh my goodness, this is great. But if anyone has a question, that they can write it. Let's see.
Let me see. Whose answer shall we be answering?
Well, you know what? If people could put like a Q, and then the question would be a little easier.
So some people I was talking to Casey that I don't want to like engage in negativity, and also that I don't block people because I respect freedom of speech, right? That's what I made it clear. But the thing is, like someone like this, I don't see a problem with North Korea, like Jimar, Joseph, they feed their people. I've never seen a hungry North Korean. But I'm not trying to attack you. That's your opinion. It's okay. But the thing is, there has been so many, like I'm sure, Casey, you've been working on this issue too. A lot of sympathizers of the regime is around the world, right? It's in Spain, Brazil, like literally in America, South Korea, especially these days. What do you think, like in your, understanding that people can be possibly sympathizing with like dictator like Kim Jong-un, who is as worse as than like Hitler? Like, how do you think is that coming from?
Yeah, you know what? I have been in several movements and met so many people. I will believe anybody will believe anything now. I've met Black people supporting the Confederacy. I've met all kinds of people in this world. When I meet such people, such as some of the sympathizers, I have a couple of questions for them. So number one, you say that things are so great in North Korea and you had such a great time when you were there. Can you call those people that you met? What's the reason that you cannot call those people? Can you send a message to them? No? Well, why not? So it feels to me it's almost like people who go to a zoo and they have a nice time, but they're just looking at the people there as animals. And they cannot contact them after they leave. And I've got those beautiful memories of being in North Korea. So I don't know what motivates such people. And you have such patience that I cannot understand. As soon as I identify them, I just block them and I'm finished. Because I know that you are useless. And I have no reason to spend my time engaging with you. So I just block them and move on. So I've blocked enough people now that, they can have their own little city of idiots. So I don't waste my time with them, and I don't understand what motivates them. But, obviously some of them just like communist ideology, and there's some people, they just look at North Korea as like a poor little country and they want to defend it, but they're not thinking about the individuals in the country. About 20 years ago, the British American writer Christopher Hitchens called North Korea the worst country in the world. Now, I don't know how to determine the worst because there are definitely some bad countries out there. But he said something that was really profound, and that is that the reason North Korea is the worst country in the world is because they won't let you live and they won't let you leave. They won't let you live the life that you want, but they won't let you leave the country. That is the definition of hell. And I believe
Yeah.
he's correct. So actually, I'm one of those people. I'm not interested actually in what's going on in North Korea. I'm just interested in people having the freedom to leave if they choose to do so. If they want to go back, I'm okay with that. All right. But if they're being pressured, if their family members are being threatened, well, that's not legitimate. So I
Yeah.
don't understand how people can support, that country.
I agree with you. I think the reason why I don't shut them off is
Hmm.
that sometimes I feel like living in this like free world where there's so
Hmm.
much information floating around and
Hmm.
you really don't know what to believe at some point, right?
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people are also misguided and
Hmm.
misled by some political groups have a special agenda.
Hmm.
So, I'm like, even though they disagree with me and they might never, ever, ever hear what I say, never give me a benefit of that, what I say might be true. I at least like give them a chance to hear a different view.
Hmm. Yes.
And then hopefully I believe that's something that I think is better for the world. People like have a different ideas.
Hmm.
But I completely understand where you're coming
Oh, and
from.
I completely
So
understand you because you are a
yeah.
spokesperson, and so you're trying to share information. I'm more like
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to build a team. And
Mm-hmm.
and if there's some person on the team who's just like, trying to destroy our operation, then you
Mm-hmm.
can't be on my team.
Of course.
So I'm only interested in working with people who want to get something positive done. And if
Absolutely.
they, whatever it is they want to do, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm not trying to block them. I'm not trying to
Mm-hmm.
control them. So, they can do what they do. It's a big world, almost 8 billion people, and I don't have to be
Yeah,
friends with everybody. So,
exactly.
yeah, so I just move on. But like I said, I respect that you let them, just say whatever. But I don't have the patience. I'm looking
Yeah.
for, people who want to join up with me and to make a
Mm.
difference.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
John said, "May the oppression in North Korea end in peace." Thank you so much, John.
Hmm.
And let's see. Beatrice is that Marianne? I am English teacher. I would like to volunteer. How? So she's in, and somebody also asked, Molly asked, like, do you need a writer's KC? Like,
Okay.
do you need people like who's English teacher or like writers?
Hmm.
Do you need those skills to help with your like organization?
Yeah, so we are
Mm-hmm.
basically starting from scratch with this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're starting with our speech contest. We're going to be having this Saturday, March 20th. So we're
Ah.
going to have several North Korean refugees giving original speeches in English, and so we've been mentoring them, getting them prepared for that contest. Um, we do need teachers, but not yet. I'm just going to ask
Mm.
people, can you give us a little time as we
Yeah.
develop this? Because here's the way to think about it. North Korean refugee comes to us, says, I want to publish a book. Okay, so that is your end goal.
Yeah.
What do you need to do to get to that goal? So, do you need
Mm.
to translate your book from Korean to English? Okay, we can help
Yeah.
with that. Do you need some help with public speaking? We can help you with that. Do you need some English teaching? Okay, we can help you with that. So, it's more of that they come to us, we talk, we try to figure out how we can work together, and then we find those things that are necessary. But it's not like in the past where we said we just need a bunch of English teachers and we need as many people as possible. Now, English teaching will become just one of those niche activities that we
Mm.
have as preparation for the refugees to become public spokespersons. Some of them, as I said before, are not interested in English at all. Some of them, we
Mm-hmm.
think they want to meet us because they think they can get some English teaching out of it. And then some
Ah.
of them, right, just are already very good English speakers and they just want to publish their books or to give speeches. So it's more of we talk with them and figure out how we can collaborate, and then we'll
Mm-hmm.
try to find people who can help us with that. So that's why I said just give
Mm-hmm.
us a little time. We just we're going as I said, we have our own identity crisis, FSI, TNKR.
Mm-hmm.
So, but part of that is that we want to build it so that every refugee who is with us basically has a team around them,
Mm-hmm.
supporting them, and that can also include English teachers. So whoever asked that question, just wait a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as
That's
writers,
good.
we right now we're looking more for people who can help with editing.
Amazing.
Yeah. But as far as writers, if you can help us with our marketing material, so that's not so much helping the refugees directly, but if you're willing to help our organization get stronger, we do need some people who could help with writing as well as with editing.
Amazing. So for that, guys, I have an exciting announcement.
Mm.
So I'm sure like all my like subscribers has been maybe I'm just amazed that you guys have not been like, getting sick of me. I'm always the one talking and I feel so sad. Like you have to look at me all the time. And for that, Casey's doing me a favor. He's throwing what's the name of the event, Casey? Can you tell us about it?
Yes, International Freedom Forum. And it will be April 3rd, US time, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., which means over here it will be 10 or 11 p.m., I guess it will be. So we'll be working late that night, but we wanted to have North Korean refugees who are based in the USA to tell their stories and to answer questions from people. So that's, I hope people will join that. They can go to eventbrite.com. And maybe you'll post the link later on, but eventbrite.com. I think they can type your name in and it will pop up. But also they can type in FSI and it will also pop up. And then I can also post it in the chat here. So people
is it free, Casey? Is it free event?
It's absolutely free.
Wow.
No charge. Yes, we have some sponsors helping us with that. But we will have a book raffle, so people who don't already have a signed copy of your book, they can get it there. I just put it in the chat, Workable Words with Casey Lartig. I just posted the link to the event right there. So, so then we'll have a book raffle, and every $1 you give, you get one raffle ticket. So it's free of charge. It's free of charge, but if you want to join the raffle, you can do so.
Wow. Okay. So JOKUL. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I love the idea of this new organization. Please encourage them to get active on social media in addition to writing their book. You can reach so many. Thank you so much for that tip and encouragement. They are actually on social medias, right?
Yeah. But let me say this. Thank you for saying that. I don't know what your name was, but thank you so much for saying that. We also need people who can take over our social media in a positive way. Yeah, because I don't have time to do it, and I don't have the expertise. If there are people who are really interested and can run it in a professional way, I'm okay if there's someone, for example, who loves Instagram and can do it in a good way. We have like 1,100 subscribers to our old TNKR Instagram. So we need someone who can basically redesign it and then run it in a good professional way. Because we need people to do that, because people will give you nice ideas, but if you don't have people to run it, then it's not going to get done in a very professional way. So, somebody needs to actually sign up to do that. So they can also go to our volunteer link that I posted, and you'll post later on, to sign up to do social media.
Thank you so much for brown sugar baby. I like the emoji. Thank you. Oh my God, you guys are the best. So if you are good at,
hello, Andrew.
If you are good at social media marketing or Instagram, all of that, you can help. So let's see what other questions. So a lot of people I see that in general they are.
You know what? I want to ask
Please go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, I want to ask a question that a reporter asked me recently. He asked me in 2012, as soon as Kim Jong-un became the leader, if you had 15 minutes with Kim Jong-un, what would you tell him? And maybe in your case, if you could do one of your videos, if you could send one of your videos to Kim Jong-un, what would you tell him? Yeah. What's your answer?
That's a very deep question, right? If you can sit down with Kim Jong-un, I only get 15 minutes to change his mind. Well,
how about people can answer the question also?
Yeah, I think you guys all can think of like, what do you guys think is gonna be good way to talk to Kim Jong-un that it's gonna change his mind. You know, that's a real thing. I mean, Trump apparently
Yes.
changed his mind, right? I don't know. He sat down with Kim Jong-un like several hours, but he still didn't get to do it. So, you know, it's not easy to change Kim Jong-un.
Right. Right.
Do you have an answer,
Yeah.
Casey?
I don't see
What's
if
your
anyone has
answer?
an answer to it.
Yeah.
I have my answer. So
What is that?
So 2012, I was asked this question on a radio show here in Korea, and I said nothing. That I don't believe that it will be a good use of my time to talk to Kim Jong-un. It would be like if I talked to the CEO of KFC, and if I said, please stop killing chickens. What is he going to say? That's my business.
That is funny.
And if I talk to like the head of the mafia and I ask him to stop committing crime, what is he going to say?
Yeah.
He's going to say, you have 10 seconds to get out of my office. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, with Kim Jong-un, if I talk to him, he's going to say, you know what? This is my family's business. I mean, I exploit North Koreans. Why would I give that up? I have a country. Why would I give it up? So then if we turn it around, what could Kim Jong-un say to you to make you stop talking? What argument could he present to you for you to say that his government is legitimate?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't talk to the sympathizers of the regime, because I feel like, you know what? It'll be like talking to the head of KFC and asking them to stop killing chickens. They're not going to change. I mean, that's what they do.
I love the way how you think. That's very unique. But somebody said here, Beatrice, right, Marianne said, you go say, go on a diet. If you say that, sit down, Kim Jong-un, you should say go on a diet. So that's a pretty good one.
Yes. Yes. Well, okay.
And Pravin, he said, or she said, people are starving. Wow, that's good.
Yes. And you know what Kim Jong-un would say?
Yeah.
I'm eating very well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And
they're starving. He doesn't care. Yeah.
Exactly. That's I tell him that there is a God in heaven who is greater than all. So these are all wonderful. I think we can definitely squeeze them all in 15 seconds for sure.
Right? Someone said, work at KFC, dude.
Yeah. I mean, if it's up to me.
I've got a question. Go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear it.
I mean, like, if it's up to me, if I do get a chance to sit down with him, I think I will go sit down with him. And the thing is, and like, I'm an optimist. I'm a very hopeful person. That kept me going. So I guess I still keep hoping. I think one thing I want to tell Kim Jong-un is that anyone can make a mistake. And Kim Jong-un also can make a mistake, right? He was raised in that world where he was, maybe he's a victim, like he's a brainwashed to think that he cannot give up. But I want to tell him that North Korean people willing to forgive him, willing to let it go. We are gonna be so supportive of him, and we can even respect him to the degree that if he gonna end in his generation to this tragedy of humanity and turning this direction into, you know, building a country for the people. So I think I don't want like Kim Jong-un to fear that what he has done. I think no matter what he has done, it's nothing gonna be greater than if he changes his mind and hurt people. That is the greatest thing that North Korean people remember of him. So I think that's the thing. Like, it's not like, even though I definitely wish Kim Jong-un to be dead for sure right now, but if it's really change the direction of the country, I don't think any North Korean is gonna like say no to him, right? Yeah. We are gonna be all grateful that he choosing that turning point and making a history. So yeah, just let Kim Jong-un know that there is always a way to change and make things better.
Well, you know, it sounds great. Sounds great.
Because I'm a dreamer. I'm an optimist.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's the great thing about you. All 9 years I've known you, you've been a dreamer and all that. But Kim Jong-un is going to say, "I'm not going to step down from this and
Of course.
take a chance and hope that people will embrace me." Because unfortunately, lots of people will say you got to punish him and you can't let him survive. But I think even if he was willing to listen to you, there are still people around him who will be too afraid of what would happen to them.
Yeah.
So I think they would try to stop him from doing that. And he's just one man. So, and I think that there will then be, a pushback within North Korea. No way, you can't do that. And they might get rid of him and put somebody else because so back when he first became the leader, as I said, people were thinking like, oh, he's different. He was educated in whatever, Switzerland or Sweden or somewhere.
Yeah.
Switzerland, yeah, he's educated in Switzerland. So, and he's more international. But I think he's been just as brutal, if not more brutal.
Worse.
So there's nothing that he's done to show that he's looking for a way out.
I agree.
Yeah, so I'm not the optimist when it comes to them because now he's been the leader for I guess 9 years. So yeah, and nothing's changed except gotten worse under him.
But let's see what Kirk said. Kirk Johnson
Okay.
says, I would tell Kim Jong-un do things for his people that he will be proud of and be remembered for. His legacy as a leader. I agree, Kirk. I think I will say that. And also, as a North Korean, I will tell Kim Jong-un that, he can be forgiven if we choose a different direction. And Derek says, if I were Kim Jong-un, I would give him jeans. That's true. I don't think what kind of jeans would fit him. We gotta be very selective, So what other questions, Casey, did you have for me?
Well, actually, I had a question for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow, this is great. I love when people don't do that for you. That's fantastic. You have so many supporters. Okay, well, I just saw that you are going to become a U.S. citizen.
Oh, yes. Well,
Yes.
I gotta
Take the
pass
test.
Yes.
Take the test. Yes. Okay. And I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I am in the process of becoming a naturalized, citizen. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna pass the test, but it's right here. This is but the thing is, even if I didn't maybe take the test, I would wanna reading all about this and learning about this great country, that how this miracle is possible. So yeah. And Devin, thank you so much. You guys are the best today.
Yeah.
What do you think would I'm just Devin asked, what do you think would make him listen to people? So Casey, I know you think there's nothing take him to listen to people. Nothing.
One thing, power. Power against him. I think words would never work with him. It's going to have to be power, and that is better for him to make a change. Right now, there's no reason for him to make a change. Actually, about 2 years ago, I was talking to one of the former North Korean diplomats, and he said that he won't believe that America is serious about making change in North Korea until the U.S. parks one of those, tankers, one of those big ships off the North Korean coast and threatens them. Until then, words will never work with North Korea. They've been battling with words for decades. They love propaganda. They love all that. So for them, they would love a word fight. But if there's the real threat to them, that's the only thing that Kim Jong-un would listen to. And I'm not like a military strategist or anything like that, but I'm saying that I think words would never work with him. It's the actual threat. Now, back when I started getting involved with this, I remember one of my North Korean refugee friends coming to me and saying that your country is so stupid. And I'm like, okay, and why? And he said that Obama doesn't realize that every day he lets Kim Jong-un live is another day he gets stronger, and that America needs to take radical action now. Now, that was several years ago, and he's only gotten stronger. So I think convincing him with words would never work. So yeah, that's why I'm not so optimistic about that.
Thank you for your insight. And Fader, it says, how do I say, Nuna Haiting, thank you. I love your Korean. Brad, oh, thank you, Brad. Good to see you here. Thank you for joining. Brad is my friend, so your logic and thoughts are so brilliant. A voice that's full of common sense, love, compassion, and hope for humanity. Thank you so much. I cannot even. I'm so flattered with your like amazing compassion words, Brad. So I mean, like Casey said, I absolutely agree that talking all those flowery words doesn't work with Kim Jong-un. And any day that we let him be and continue whatever he's going on right now, because every single day North Korea is dedicating all their resources to build more nukes, hydrogen bombs, bio these weapons. And like we saw what the COVID did to all of us, and we don't know what kind of chaos that North Korea can create for the rest of the humanity. It is in everybody's interest to stop Kim Jong-un, not just for North Korean people, guys. Like I'm saying it, North Korea, I mean, what are we gonna do if Kim Jong-un becomes like too big to fail, like China's situation where we cannot control them anymore? Then whatever they do, we have to put up with it. And it's not gonna be pretty, and it's not gonna be good for our children and next generation. So I'm just so grateful you guys joined this conversation with Casey. And don't
Well,
be
I just
shy.
saw my favorite question.
Yeah? What is that? Let me know.
Someone said, post a link to how people can donate. Thank you, Michael Donmoyer. You're my favorite. Let's see.
I love Michael. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for joining.
Let me post that right now. Okay.
It's been amazing, Casey, doing this YouTube. I know you joined the YouTube recently, right?
Oh,
so tell us about your YouTube channel.
You know what? I'm such a baby at YouTube. I have 4 videos I posted, I think 4 this year. Yeah, just starting. So it's called Workable Words. And the point of it is actually what we've been talking about is not enough just to talk about things. How can you make your words workable? And it actually comes from a quote about Frederick Douglass, that he didn't just speak words just to, to sound elegant and all that. His words were meant to inspire people into action. So I think it's important that we consider not only just like the beauty of the words, but how can they inspire people into action? So like you've got like a small city following you. I mean, you got like, whatever, 450, I was looking up earlier, 450,000 people on YouTube, like 100,000 at Instagram, and I forgot Facebook, like 150,000, whatever. You got like a small city. Your small city can do something. So what is it that your small city could do? I think that's like a challenge for you also. How could you mobilize your city? I've seen you've done some fundraisers. For example, a North Korean refugee mother who was about to be put out. I saw they raised like the money for her in like one day. So you raise money for us also. Thank you so much every time. So my channel is to challenge the people around me to do more than they're doing now. That whatever you're doing now, you can always take it up to another level of participation and involvement. So my channel is Workable Words. I have 976 subscribers, which that's like a typical day for you.
No, but here, people, guys, please join him. And the thing that I like about your channel, Case, is that there are also so many voices from North Korean defectors, right?
Yes,
I see a lot of my former friends in South Korea, I mean, defector friends, they also speaking out in your channel. So people really can go there and hearing different stories and finding different people. And the thing about the YouTube is that I met one of my Patreon yesterday. We had a lunch and we were talking about it. I really initially, when I joined the YouTube, I thought, oh, this is a virtual thing. It's never gonna be a real connection. But the people that I met through YouTube are actually becoming really my good friends. And it's a more real connection than the real people that I meet at conferences in person. Because of when people find you on YouTube because they want to support your cause. That's why it's been amazing to letting these like relationships that I find flourish and the ideas that we share. So me and
Oh, but I want to
Kim
say
is
something
first.
about that. I
Yeah.
think it's so funny. Yes. I mean, because
Mm,
look, I've been to many conferences over the years, and of course, with COVID, it's not really possible. At
yeah.
conferences, it's just a lot of happy talk.
Yeah.
People just have a nice time, and hey, why don't you come to England and give a speech? And why don't you? But
Mm,
yes, as you said, the people who find you and they follow
yeah.
you, yeah, can actually
Mm.
build a good connection with you.
I know it's been incredible just doing this YouTube and getting to know all of you here. And me and Kim is me. I love your book. We are inspiration. Do you think if you Kim dies, then things will change? Love from the UK. So
Hmm.
we can both, I mean, Case, what do you think? If the Kim Jong-un dies right now, what, I mean, I know it's very, anything is possible in North Korea, right? But we still can make assumptions and,
Hmm.
guesses. What do
Hmm.
you think is going to happen if Kim Jong-un dies?
I think they would just find the next puppet.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, the thing is,
Yeah.
I think the important thing to recognize about North Korea is that it's not about one person, it's a
Mm,
system. And you
mm,
don't get to become the leader of North Korea unless you're willing to kill people,
yeah.
okay? Unless you're willing to exploit people. So they would just find another person in the family who's ready to kill and exploit people. So
Mm,
it's bigger than just one person because, first it was Kim Il Sung.
mm,
And I'm old enough, I remember when Kim Il Sung died.
mm,
People were saying in 1994 that North Korea cannot survive
yeah.
after his death.
Mm.
Then Kim Jong Il took over
Yeah.
and he was leader for, I guess, whatever, 17 years or
He,
whatever it was.
yeah,
And,
long
and
time.
then when he died, people said, there's no way Kim Jong
Mm,
Un can survive. 5 to 7 years, North Korea will be gone.
yeah.
So it is a system that has been built
Mm,
up. And the interesting thing, actually, there's one North Korean refugee I met over here in South Korea who gave a speech one day. And he said that North Korea continues to survive for two main reasons. The first
mm,
one is that people look at North Korea as a normal country. It's not.
interesting.
Okay? North
Mm,
Korea is not a normal country. It's a cult. It's a
yeah.
cult with the military and nuclear weapons. But we look at it just like any other country. He said it's not.
Mm,
He said the
mm,
second thing is that North Korea uses that whatever the three generation
yeah. The
punishment
guilt association, I'm guilt by
by
association
association.
system.
Okay, yeah. So they use that, and
Mm,
the importance of that is that, as the speaker said, that if you run away from North Korea, you betray not only your country but your
yeah.
family. So it puts your family at risk. So that is why North Korea continues to survive as a country. I mentioned
Mm,
Martin Luther King Jr. earlier. People remember I Have a Dream. People might not remember that for 13 years, Martin Luther King Jr. was going around America raising hell.
yeah.
Okay? In North Korea, he would have been dead after probably a day. Okay? And not only Martin Luther King Jr., but Coretta Scott King, his wife, his children, his father, and anybody around him. So it's not about one man saying,
Mm,
just kill them. It's about a system that's been set up, and lots of people benefit from that system. So if Kim Jong Un died, things could not change so quickly. Okay,
yeah.
it's a machine. It's a machine that was built by his grandfather and continues to operate as a killing machine. But it won't change because of one man dying.
I love your analogy. You are so you have so much depth understanding in this issue.
Hmm.
I completely agree that of course Kim Jong Un by himself as a one man cannot
Hmm.
rule 25 million people.
Right,
There is a system and people supporting him and backs him and enabling him to be the
right,
god of 21st century.
right.
So it is for sure we don't know what's gonna happen after Kim Jong Un is dead,
Hmm.
but to me is there's so much symbolic about being a Kim in North
Hmm.
Koreans' minds that nobody can replace that, the
Hmm.
Kim's position.
Right.
Nobody, not even sister, not even aunt, not even mistress, nobody can. So
Hmm.
I think even the system will try everything to maintain the current system, But the thing, I think resistance from people gonna be a lot higher.
Yeah, that's the key thing.
Then we might actually see the real change. So I think killing Kim Jong-un or dead Kim Jong-un is definitely better for the world than him being alive. So that's the key, guys. We should be all hoping that he's dead. I know I cannot believe I'm saying it, but I don't think it's, I know I might get scared, and that's why I can say that. Like for me, every day counts for me. I don't know when I'm gonna get killed by Kim Jong-un. But the thing is, it's better off for us to be dead, and being better for even North Koreans. No matter what happens, it is always better without Kims in North Korea.
Yeah. Well, I can agree, especially in this way, that there have been some dictators and some rebel leaders that after they died, it was more difficult for it to continue. But if you look into the history of dictators, and I heard this great talk years ago, with a dictator, if a dictator is able to survive the first 3 years, they're most likely to die of old age. And because in those first 3 years, that's when they have internal challenges. That's when they have to build their power base around them, and they call it like a selectorate. The people who have the power around them. If they're able to survive those first 3 years, then they're most likely to die of cancer or old age or something else. So so I'm not optimistic about it, but of course I'd prefer to see him, to die, suddenly, for whatever reason. So when he was missing, it's like good, but I'm not optimistic about the person who replaced him. Remember, at one point people thought he's the one, he can make a change, but it turned out he was just part of the system.
Yeah, I agree. So thank you so much for Emily B. Oh my God, like that emoji too. And RKS51, JB sends his love. Thank you very much. I don't know who's JB, but it's well, I love you all. I really love you guys all. Seriously. I've been learning so much about like surrender and of course, like dealing with people. When you're on the internet, you meet the most loving people and compassionate people, and also you can meet the worst people with the worst vocabulary. But then the life is all about both, right? Dark and light. So I should be embracing all.
You know what? I read a great essay recently by I think his name was Mark Manson. He wrote the book The Subtle Art of Not Giving. Can I you know which book? Okay, I don't know if I can curse on your channel. Okay,
It's literally F, though,
Yeah, exactly right. So
yep.
I don't want to curse on your channel. Okay, but one thing that he wrote about is that the internet makes it easier for you to meet the worst people. Because think about it, in a typical day, you might talk directly to maybe 5 people, 10 people, maybe 20 people, but the internet, whoosh, thousands, at one time. And if just 1% of them are absolute jerks, that's a lot of people. If 10% of them are like, absolute jerks on your feed, then that's a lot of people. But, still, most people in the world are good. Most people in the world are nice.
Is it always looking at the bright side? Like internet, of course, shows the worst of the humanity, but it also shows the best of humanity.
Right.
So, like, what do you choose to embrace?
Yes.
So that's why I love you guys. So anyway, so this is an interesting question. Like, so Bahi is I don't know. India is on the verge of becoming North Korea. And I mean, he said that I think a lot of issues that India has right now. Look at, Chinese Communist Party, so many countries, even in America, the rise of socialism, and in the Western Europe, right, Casey, like everywhere is now, we have a pandemic of rising of Marxism and socialism. And I was so confident until 5 years ago that I thought, oh, no way, like democracy will prevail for sure. But now I'm not confident anymore. Like freedom is so fragile that how quickly it falls, it fares. What do you think, Casey? Like you've been in South Korea, right? And do you see any deterioration of freedom of speech and that in South Korea? Because South Korea is known for having a very healthy democracy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what?
You know what? I think if you look in the history, countries drift to, I don't know, we're gonna say the left or
Mm,
towards socialism. Um, if people are not actively for protecting their freedom and their rights, then there are always people in government and intellectuals who are always just chipping away at it.
right.
And so we're just busy living our lives, but there are some people who just always have this kind of feeling of taking away power from people, that they
Mm,
don't like the decisions that people make on their own. So they're
mm,
always coming up with some legislation, always something just that chips away at people's power. So I'm not surprised.
yeah.
South Korea, actually, you can look it up. In 2011, when I
Mm,
came back to South Korea, I wrote an essay like my intellectual challenge being back in South Korea. I forgot exactly what I wrote,
interesting.
but I talked about how, I came back to South Korea and it is definitely drifting more towards government control. And I
Mm,
saw this from people that I was talking to, just
mm,
joining like English discussion clubs and just meeting people, and that people were just asking for more government control over other people.
right.
So in many cases, it almost seems like people are offended by a
Yeah.
dictator just trying to control them. But if a democracy does it, people don't get as offended. I mean, so it's like the strange situation where things just always seem to kind of drift towards control of people. And
Yeah.
if you don't actively fight against it, then that's what's going to happen in society.
Yeah. I think like North Korea almost I sometimes think is almost like a gift, bad,
Hmm.
sad way that is there to remind all of us what happens when individuals lose their liberty.
Oh my
What
goodness.
what happens when people stop fighting for their
Hmm.
freedom. And it is a perfect example. I mean, North Korea is almost a fictional, right? It's like 1984 fictional state, and people keep thinking like, how is it possible? Is it because people are in North Korea are so dumb? And no, like if you see that North Korea is one of the highest IQs by like country, like one or second highest IQ, and that's why like right now Kim Jong-un completely ignoring call from Biden. Can you
Hmm.
imagine that this tiny country has a policy economy ignoring the phone call from the world's best, like top economy in the world?
Yeah.
And it's not because people were not smart or not brave. It's because people did not understand the value of freedom,
Hmm.
and they didn't understand the price of freedom. So
Hmm.
I think that's why I'm just always grateful that people coming to us and this channel always know they understand that we are in this together. It is our quest to be free as a humanity, and it
Hmm.
is our fight that North Korean people are oppressed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's amazing to me because I've met many North Korean refugees over the years.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes they remind me
Yeah.
about the importance of protecting your freedom,
Right.
because they didn't have it. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, there's some, okay, I'm sure it's okay if I say her name, but like Eunhee Park. So,
Yeah.
she studied in our program. She's a YouTuber. She was on your show
Yeah.
also. It was
Yes,
great.
she
I saw
was.
it.
Mhm.
So Eunhee is someone that will challenge everything. And so she cannot understand why people on YouTube want to talk about her hair or question the things that she wears. And I think it happens to you also. And it's like what I tried to explain to her is that in North Korea, you can be arrested for
Yeah.
wearing the wrong thing. In the
Mhm.
West, so many busybodies want to talk about what you're wearing. They want to talk
Yeah.
about your style. So all they can do is talk. They can
Mhm.
blog about you. They can set up YouTube channels about you. They can complain about you, but they can't arrest you.
Yeah.
So they've all got their opinions, and they're gonna express those opinions. But North Korean refugees remind me sometimes, why should I accept these people talking about me like this? I
Mhm.
mean, so why should I accept that I can't wear what I want to wear? Why should I accept that
Mhm.
I can't do this or I can't do that? So sometimes they'll remind me, yeah,
Mhm.
right. Why is
Yeah.
someone trying to dictate things to me? So I have my
Mhm.
life, you have your life. And so I will live my life as I choose.
Exactly. And with that said, we've been over like an hour.
Wow. Okay.
Is there any last thing that, I mean, the thing is like, I don't get offended. Like people will say, oh, people are shaming you for being skinny or wearing this kind of clothes or look like this. And like, I don't feel shamed. Like it's like they have a right to have opinion, and
Yeah.
most of things in life is a noise.
Right.
So I know who I am. I know what my life mission is, and I know my own truth. That's the thing, like I don't get offended. Nothing people can say can offend me. That's why I don't block anybody right now. Like even though it's going crazy with this trollers.
Really?
It's
Really?
almost funny, like how they do not get discouraged by me seeing that offended or like getting bothered by 1 second. It's just almost cute, you know.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? It is kind of funny. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like, I guess you don't have anything going on in your life that you're spending your time going and attacking somebody else instead of doing something positive with your life and your time. So it's kind of like, kind of pathetic actually that people, go around just attacking other people. I mean, one thing I want to say is that, so like in your case, I've seen you develop over the years. So I met you 2012. I mean, your English wasn't good then. Not ABC, but maybe DEF level. So not quite ABC. And then you started to step out and you became international, as I guessed you would back then. And I've seen you develop so much. I'll compare it to like Frederick Douglass. So Frederick Douglass, he escaped in 1838 and he published his first book in 1845. It was about 150 pages.
Wow.
His second book, 10 years later, was about 480 pages.
Wow.
And then his third book was about 750 pages. And I say that because, I mean, if you read a book when you're age 16 or age 26 or age 36, you're going to have different understanding about it. Because you would have had some experience and some perspective in life. And that's what I see from you. I saw one of your talks the other day about victimhood. I was like, oh my goodness, but I was like, wow. I mean, she's got some really strong points and some deep analysis. But it's, I think people need to stop looking at refugees as kind of like a snapshot and just realize that people develop and people grow. Actually, I had like I don't want to take up too much time, but I had a funny case with a reporter a couple of years ago. He, we set up an interview. He was talking with a refugee, and then he complained to me, the refugee's not telling me anything. And I said, you just met her. You expect her to like just tell you about everything about her life at the very beginning? I mean, some people, it takes some time for them to get comfortable. Especially when it's some public things and they're not really familiar with it. So it's just like, it's kind of like my theory that people talk about, is someone a refugee or they're a defector? And I see some people who start off as refugees and they become defectors, that they have a more deeper analysis. It's probably the most boring person or boring people that I've ever met are people who just escaped from North Korea. They have nothing to compare to. They only have their experience in North Korea and, of course, escaping China. But you talk to that same North Korean refugee like 5 years later, 10 years later, after being in South Korea, they have some perspective. So I think there's kind of this third category of people. I don't know what the exact label for it, but I think that's you. Yeah. I think you've gone from refugee to defector.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, that's a term. It's like a bit controversial, right, among the defectors or refugees. But the thing is, I don't care like what like the label they use on me. Is that all those things? Most of things in life is not important, and I think that's what I see the crisis in the West is that people don't know. They are so lost, and because there's no more guidance, right? You can be 100 different genders. You can be like a million different things. There's no right and wrong anymore. And this is not what there is right and wrong. And there is like boundaries. So, but for me is that because I know what I am, and that's why I don't get offended in a lot of things. And it's been really good
Yeah.
for me with my mental health, really.
Yes, yeah. Well, I was just thinking about like people, whatever. So, but anyway, just to finish with, if people want to find out more about us, as I said, we're going through an identity crisis from TNKR, but they can go to our website, lovetnkr.org. Love TNKR. We said love because so many refugees told us they love what we're doing. So we made a website out of it. And that has the links to, if they click on the photo, it will go to the links of all our social media and volunteer possibilities, donation links, of course, also.
Yeah.
So they can get involved with us. And so we do welcome people, but I'm just saying, just give us a little time as we go through this transition time.
Yeah.
But we would like to have more people involved because we'd like to have more North Korean refugees who can speak out, more than who can come on your channel. Of course, only people who want to. We don't force anybody. So we're just, partnering with people who do want to speak out and have a story to tell. So I hope to see some of them on your channel in the future.
Amazing. So thank you for the casual podcast. You're wonderful. I see very often. And Zam, that was the point I tried to make about your beauty channel. The freedom to express yourself is not a freedom granted to the North Korean populace, and detractors will attack you for your right to share what you love about life. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's I am loving being who I am, and if people have opinions about it, it's their right. And I'm fine with that. You can have a million opinions about me, and that's your freedom to express it. I'm not here to tell you what you need to think about me. It's like it's your freedom to even judge me or not. But that was a wonderful case. I know you are transitioning to this new, mission. And thank you for helping us to understand how we can do more when it comes to action wise. Right? So action is a lot harder than just talking. We all know that. Yeah. So I'm grateful that you are doing the action part. It's really needed. And I really hope that guys, Casey needs like editors again and translators, marketing people, fundraising. If you have the means, please donate to his organization. And if you you can even like go to social media and help them and spread what they're doing and their mission. So that's the thing, like really changing the world and helping people doesn't need to have always money. You can like literally just share it. The biggest miracle that I experienced was when I gave that talk, Casey, in 2014 at One Young World, right? There were 2,000 people in the auditorium, and I gave a speech, and they shared my talk, and that led to more than almost like billion people saw my speech. Literally, that's like the 2,000 people sharing my speech led it to like 1 billion. So even by sharing and going on social media and support, like letting others know what they're doing, that can be even a lot of help in this age of like internet and social media.
Well, going back to what I said before, if you see a friend of yours in a fight, make the calculation. What is it that I can do? Do I join the fight? Do I call others? What is that you can do? So I quoted Frederick Douglass earlier. One profound thing he said was, the tools to those who can use them. TOOLS. So the tools to those who can use them. So use the tools that you have to make a difference, to improve things. And I don't say change the world. What I say is make the world a better place. So use your ability, whatever it is that you can do to help make a difference.
Oh, thank you everyone for joining today and listening to Casey and being so nice to him. And thank you, Casey, most of all, like sharing your wisdom, your insight, and your jokes. It's hilarious. It made me very happy.
Yes.
And I love this last an hour, like 73 minutes that we shared together to help North Korean people. I can't even imagine right now being in North Korea, knowing that there is somebody talking about helping me to be free, because it's very isolated and lonely being in North Korea. And And thank you for everyone even contributing to that and supporting me and donating to this channel and just helping me to even continue this mission. So guys, I cannot like leave them because I love them so much. Like I would like throw my like life forever. I would like share every moment. But I know you guys have to have life too. So I will let you go. But I will come back, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, Casey. Is the
Thank you,
last word you
Yummy.
want to say to everyone? Do you say, do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Yeah, thank
Enjoying
you so
your
much.
stay?
I'm happy anyone who wants to get involved with us, and thank you for actually anyone who stayed from start to finish. You deserve to have an award. Thank you so much. And I wish I could turn on my YouTube channel like you and have like, you know, people waiting to hear what I have to say. So it's really a great thing that you are doing.
Oh, thank you. So finally, we're really turning like off this
Okay.
live. So love you guys. See you soon.